title of this mini podcast is You Are Here. Here's a blast from the past about the present from the grasshopper. Seeking validation for the way you are keeps you the way you are. If we can find a reason for our shortcoming and get people to agree to it, we've formed a club that forms a wall of defense that keeps us sheltered from progress. Years ago, I met a young couple while flying. She was a teacher and he was a recruiter. Very sweet couple. I offered that I taught seminars on stop smoking and weight loss. The woman was intrigued. She asked a lot of questions and then said something like, I really don't need to lose weight, but I have some negative family issues regarding to food that keeps me from eating more healthy. She then pointed in her husband's direction as she looked for validation and said to me, he knows what I'm talking about. I have no doubt that most of us have some negative programming regarding food. It was our caregivers passing along their preferences and prejudices. The reason this woman had issues with eating healthy is more interesting than it is important. The way forward is determined by deciding how you got from where you are to where you want to go, not going back to how you got here. You're already here. There's no need to go back and get here again. The seeking for justification for how you got here is looking through the telescope backwards. It provides a distorted perspective. Reminds me of another story. Some time back, a friend was having a problem with her teenage child who had left her home to live with her father. Her child was acting out in too many ways to mention, and according to my friend, her ex-husband was allowing her behavior to continue under his roof. I suggested that she and her ex get together and put aside their differences and look for a way to help their daughter rather than assigning blame to each other. When their conversation went back in the direction of who was at fault, the conversation became about them and not about the daughter's well-being. It's so easy to get sidetracked from the issue at hand, namely, how to go forward. Searching for a scapegoat is wandering in a field that won't produce crops. Real growth begins in the current moment and is not assisted by assigning blame or justification. The quickest way to curtail or derail progress is to seek validation for your position rather than evaluating the options right in front of you. The past can provide a context, but going back over it again and again keeps the focus from going in the most productive direction, forward. The need to argue for how we got our limitations is the main culprit in keeping limits on our progress. When I look more closely at the justification phenomenon, I find that people are really looking for acknowledgement for their pain, not validation of their limitation. They want their story acknowledged. Warning: if it takes longer than 5 minutes of listening, you're doing them a disservice. If you truly want to assist them, you can't stay with the story. You may be considered a good friend, but you won't be helping them. You'll just enable them to stay unable. How you got here is a matter for the historians. Taking steps forward is an action that allows you to make new history, rather than justifying and recreating your past. All the best, John.